So something that I really recently realized is that I was fawning. I spent my whole life fawning because I came from a background where I was neglected. My emotional needs, my physical health, everything was neglected. And looking back on it, I always thought, because we know fight, flight, freeze, but a lot of people don't pay attention to fawn. And the reason why fawning exists in people who experienced neglect in childhood is because fawning comes from a place of trying to self-soothe. And so people who fawn a lot tend to find themselves in situations where they constantly over-explain themselves and overcompensate in friendships and relationships, because it reflects the kind of relationship that you had with your mother or your father that neglected you, where every time you were in a position where you tried to explain your feelings to them or set boundaries, you would have to overcompensate. I remember when I was younger, even when I just needed a general checkup, like to go to the GP, I would have to throw stunts and cry and act like I was on the brink of death so that I could go see a general doctor. It was never enough for me to just say I wasn't feeling well. Otherwise, my feelings would be dismissed, my health would be dismissed. And growing up now after leaving my situation with my parents has been so liberating for me, because for a long time I wondered why I struggled so much to love myself and why I felt like there's another thing called performative wellness, where you find that people who often struggle with depression and stuff do not take care of themselves in the same way that they would when they're around other people. And it's because you only felt the need to take care of yourself the same way your parents took care of you, right? Where they only made sure that you were well and okay and presentable to the outside world when you were going to school, when you were going to the doctor's office, whatever, because other people were going to see that. And it was going to reflect the way that your caregivers were taking care of you. That's why they would only take care of you when you were going to be seen by other people, but never when you were alone by yourself. And so the biggest thing that you learn after leaving a relationship like that, like with my narcissistic parents, was self-love and learning not to neglect myself, and understanding that, like, for a long time, I wasn't the kind of person that understood things like skincare routines and even things like dental hygiene. I swear, I just thought a simple brush here and there was good enough, because that's how my caregivers treated me. And because visitors and when people came to see us, it never reflected that, because my parents were performative. They were people that wanted to reflect to the outside world that we are good and clean and healthy people, and we take care of our children. But that was not how our lives looked like behind closed doors. And this is something that I spoke about heavily, where we never even had food really in the fridges, in the cupboard. We would have a lot of struggle meals while living in this big glass house. But the minute a visitor came over, suddenly there's food. Suddenly the whole fridge is full. Suddenly the place is clean. There are no maggots in the fucking pantry and shit. And so you get to realize when you get older is that you've been fawning. And I was starting to think that maybe I was a bad person, because now the way that I like block people and the way that I cut people off comes actually not from a place of ego, but from a place of self-love, and being able to say, you're neglecting me, you're neglecting my needs, and I have to remove you. In the same way that I had to remove my parents and my family from my life, because it's like, no, you will not dismiss me. And because I don't allow other people to dismiss me anymore, it means that I don't allow myself to dismiss myself, And it's so good. It's so liberating. Like, I swear, I used to be, and these also come with traits like becoming a people pleaser. And I think now more than ever, I'm at a place in my life where when I know that in my heart, I'm always moving from a place of good and genuine intent. But at any point, if someone says something like, no, you're a bitch, I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I may be being a bitch to you, but I know that I'm not being a bitch to myself. Sometimes setting boundaries with people is not nice. It will not make them feel nice, but it will be the right thing to do for you. You deserve a love that is gentle, that is kind, that is awarding to you, where you do not have to continually overextend yourself to people that do not love you, and to people that do not hold space for you because they are too selfish to, or their ego is too big to, or they don't hold space in your life, and they want people in their life that only hold space for them. That is crazy. And even within my prayer, I always say my prayer looks so different to what it used to look like back then to what it looks like now. Because before, my prayer used to come from a place of lack. And now it reflects even in the ways that I choose to take care of myself, in the self-care things that I choose to purchase. And it shows. And I love that for me. because God would have wanted me to take care of my vessel. God would have wanted me to take care of my mind, whether other people are able to provide that for me or not. Anger is pain leaving the body. If you were a former people pleaser and now you find yourself just blocking people, and at the first sight of any kind of disrespect, you leave people alone, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I will be damned if I ever find myself in a situation in my life again where I neglect myself in the same way that I neglected myself trying to get my mother to love me. I will be damned if I continuously find myself in relationships and environments where I feel neglected and I feel lonely and I feel unseen and I feel unheard because I am not holding space for myself. Had to tie my hair up. People that love you will simply love you. You do not need to overcompensate, go to therapy while they are not doing any work. You trying to constantly overextend yourself and fix yourself and send paragraphs and make calls. You do not have to do that. People that love you will simply hold space for you. And people that don't are practicing something that we call conditional love, where them loving you comes with conditions because they're taking something from you that is beneficial to them without them wanting to give love back, and that is not all right. People who are supposed to be in therapy are not in therapy. Their victims are in therapy. Amen. Take your life back because you owe it to yourself. Amen. And happy Monday.